After SM kicked out Taeil from NCT due to his being investigated for committing some of the most awful crimes, his fellow members didn't hesitate to take matters into their own hands and reacted to the scandal on their own terms. 2024 has been a tough year for K-pop fans due to some of the heaviest controversies we've seen in recent years. From Min Hee-jin's feud with Hybe, the most intense hate train ever, to perhaps the most unexpected scandals of all, Taeil's crimes getting exposed. It looks like the bond the NCT members have together has been broken by Taeil's actions, and it's now questioned whether the group will be able to survive as a whole. If anyone told NCT's ends that Taeil would be investigated for crimes such as SA, they'd probably brush it off and claim that he could never do such a thing. Over the years, Taeil has carefully crafted an image for himself that fit the fans' fantasies. On camera, he was always bubbly and bright. He had a tendency to be soft-spoken and focus on showing off his great vocal skills, which led fans to think of him highly. The same fans regularly raised their concerns over him not getting either enough screen time or equal opportunities, just like the other NCT members, which has been a problem ever since the group debuted. For the longest time, he was the black sheep of the group in terms of popularity, as fans continued to claim that the company was mistreating him by not letting him show his true talent when it was needed the most. On the one hand, the complaints made complete sense at the time, as Taeil truly didn't have equal opportunities as other members, which is a fact. It's a tale as old as time when it comes to NCT, and it's one of the things that many people have an issue with. While some members get prioritized and shoved into the spotlight all the time, others get barely any activities, promotions, or space to showcase who they really are. This leads to the public not even knowing all the members or completely forgetting about their existence. On the other hand, considering what we know now, it's perhaps best that Taeil never got so much space within the group. As bad as it sounds, it won't make the situation for the rest of the members too difficult in terms of adjusting their songs, performances, and concepts so that his disappearance doesn't stand out too much. But it looks like the members are truly heartbroken over what happened and extremely disappointed in Taeil for getting involved in such a horrendous crime. SM Entertainment came out with a shocking statement on August 28th in which they revealed to everyone that Taeil has been removed from the group as he's currently being investigated for committing crimes of a very inappropriate nature. As of September 3rd, the statement has been viewed over 109 million times on Twitter, so as you can see, the whole world was shocked by what went down in a matter of days. From SM's statement, it's very difficult to figure out what exactly Taeil did other than that it's related to inappropriate and criminal behavior. The company claimed that he's been cooperating with the police, but it appears that SM judged the situation as extremely severe and therefore decided to remove Taeil while they still could avoid tainting NCT's name any further. Unless you're a new K-pop fan, you probably know that this is not a typical strategy from SM. The company is notoriously known for not kicking out people from their groups, not terminating their contracts, and not even disbanding their inactive groups. In fact, it's always the other way around. SM artists suing SM so that they can get their contracts terminated. SM's strategy has always seemed to have been taking controversial idols off the stage, putting them on hiatus, and then bringing them back in a few years once the public has completely forgotten about their scandals. Such was the case with Lucas from NCT and Wavy, who after getting into a huge scandal, left the groups he was active in. But SM didn't kick him out. Instead, they let him stay in the company and debuted him as a solo artist 2 years after his scandal took place. Although SM didn't terminate Taeil's contract, they still did something no one had ever expected them to do. They removed their idol from a group before the public got even a chance to hear any rumors about his crimes. What this tells us is that the severity of his actions must be so big that not even SM dares to shield him from what will ultimately follow. It's worth noting that although his contract is still valid, the reasoning behind it might be that SM just wants to wait out the remaining time period of his contract so that they don't need to deal with more paperwork, or that they cannot do so without consequences unless Taeil has been found guilty for his crimes. As of now, Taeil is still only being investigated, so if SM terminated his contract citing breach of trust as the main reason for doing so, it's very likely that this wouldn't stand in court, as so far Taeil is still innocent until proven guilty in the eyes of the law. Of course, the two parties can mutually agree on terminating the contract, and it's very likely that this will take place in the following weeks because it's inevitable that his ties with SM will get cut. Even if SM and Taeil don't end up coming to a mutual agreement, it's rumored that the contracts of NCT members remain valid until the end of 2024 or early months of 2025, so it's not like it will change anything because because either way, he'll get kicked out from the company. And while his future is pretty much set in stone at this point, his fellow members and colleagues are baffled by his actions. In fact, it looks like they feel betrayed and extremely disappointed by what he did. If there's one thing NCT members really prioritize is that they do everything to keep the group's image good, and they try their best to remain a strong team in the eyes of the public. However, such a big scandal as Taeil's left them divided. Firstly, the group's social media accounts unfollowed Taeil immediately, and the members did the same thing. Taeyoung, the leader of the group, took things even further as it looks like Taeil's actions hurt him as a friend more than a colleague. Taeyoung removed almost all traces of Taeil from his Instagram by going as far as deleting photos the two shared together. For those who don't know, Taeyoung as a leader has always stood by all the members and cherished their time together more than anything. To see him delete all traces of Taeil speaks volumes, and it's only a matter of time before Taeyoung addresses the fans publicly to comfort them and to reveal his stance as the group's leader. While Taeyoung remains quiet for now, most likely due to him serving in the Navy as an active duty soldier, Haechan didn't hesitate and immediately spoke to the fans in a long emotional letter. Just 3 days after SM issued their own statement, Haechan addressed the public during his flight to Colombia where the group was set to perform. The letter has been especially long and shows that Haechan is truly heartbroken by what happened. He shared that at the beginning of NCT's career, he believed that his job was to sing and dance, but he quickly realized that there's much more to being an idol than that. He hinted at something very peculiar in the letter, which might be a direct jab at Taeil, as he wrote, "We always have to work hard so that we are not deluded." This might refer to the fact that the fame got so much into Taeil's head that he thought that he could do anything and not get punished for it. Haechan followed his statement by sharing that if it wasn't for the members, he wouldn't have gotten as far as he did, and that they all worked hard to release so many albums that it's difficult to even count them all. To really emphasize how he feels about SM's decision to kick Taeil out, Haechan wrote these 3 letters: "NCT are my everything. It is the name that I have to protect alongside my members." This says more than one may think because it suggests that he and his fellow members put the group's interest before their own, which Taeil failed to do. Towards the end of his letter, Haechan pleads with the public not to give up on them as he writes, "So everyone, please continue to look over us in the future." Following this letter, it appears that not only Haechan but also the rest of the group feel regretful over what happened and that they are afraid of how their fans might treat them moving forward. It's unlikely that NCT's reputation won't suffer. In fact, it would be surprising if the group didn't take a hit. These days, it looks like the K-pop community feels disillusioned about male idols because it seems that you can never know who you are a fan of because even the people who may seem like complete angels can be awful when the camera isn't rolling. Taeil's situation is especially difficult to swallow because he was the member who always appeared kind-hearted and sweet. However, even his best friend Yuhwa, whom he was close to for 2 decades, unfollowed Taeil following the shocking revelations. As of September 3rd, Taeil has lost over 1.5 million followers, and the number is still dropping as we speak. We're witnessing the downfall of one of the most beloved idols in real time. And of course, he's more than aware that the public has completely lost trust in him. As a result of all the backlash, questions, and negative publicity, Taeil has made his Instagram account private. It looks like he'll most likely try to keep a low profile, which is pretty obvious considering the fact that not even Korean media are covering his case much. What's really strange is the lack of updates, which appears very suspicious, especially since the media usually grab cases such as this one and cover them to no end. This time, none of that is happening.